The fact is exports now have the highest share of our national income ever. Ohio ranks 4th in terms of exports to Canada and Mexico. Are you sure this has not been better for Ohio than you're suggesting?
I'm positive that it hasn't been better for Ohio. But you are making a very legitimate point, which is that this trade can't be the only part of our economic agenda. Look, we've seen 7 years in which we have a president who has been looking out for the well-heeled and people who are doing very well in the global economy, in the financial industries, in the telecommunications industries, and has not been looking out for ordinary workers. What do we have to do? We're going to have to invest in infrastructure to make sure that we're competitive, and I've got a plan to do that. We're going to have to invest in science and technology. We've got to vastly improve our education system. We have to look at energy and the potential for creating green jobs that can not just save on our energy costs, but more importantly can create jobs in building windmills that will produce manufacturing jobs here in Ohio, can put rural communities back on their feet by working on alternative fuels, making buildings more energy efficient. We can hire young people who are out of work and put them to work at a trade. So there are all sorts of things that we're going to have to do to make the United States economy much more competitive, and those are plans that I've put forward in this campaign and I expect to pursue as President of the United States.
Senator Clinton, on the issue of jobs, I watched you the other day with your economic blueprint and in Wisconsin saying, this is my plan, hold me accountable. And I've had a chance to read it very carefully. It does say that you pledged to create 5 million new jobs over 10 years. And I was reminded of your campaign in 2000 in Buffalo, my hometown, just 3 hours down Route 90, where you pledged 200,000 new jobs for upstate New York. There's been a net loss of 30,000 jobs. And when you were asked about your pledge, your commitment, you told the Buffalo News, I might have been a little exuberant. Tonight, will you say that the pledge of 5 million jobs might be a little exuberant?
No, Tim, because what happened in 2000 is that I thought Al Gore was going to be president. And when I made the pledge, I was counting on having a Democratic White House, a Democratic president who shared my values about what we needed to do to make the economy work for everyone and to create shared prosperity. And as you know, despite the difficulties of the Bush administration and a Republican Congress for 6 years of my first term, I have worked very hard to create jobs. But obviously, as president, I will have a lot more tools at my disposal. And the reason why we can create at least 5 million new jobs, I mean, this is not a big leap. 22.7 million new jobs were created during the 8 years of the Clinton administration under my husband. We can create at least 5 million new jobs. I'm not just talking about it. I helped to pass legislation to begin a training program for green-collar jobs. I want to see people throughout Ohio being trained to do the work that will put solar panels on roofs, install wind turbines, do geothermal, take advantage of biofuels. And I know that if we had put $5 billion into the stimulus package to really invest in the training and the tax incentives that would have created these jobs, as the Democrats wanted, as I originally proposed, we would be on the way to creating those. You know, take a country like Germany. They made a big bet on solar power. They have a smaller economy and population than ours. They've created several 100,000 new jobs. And these are jobs that can't be outsourced. These are jobs that have to be done in Youngstown, in Dayton, in Cincinnati. These are jobs that we can create here with the right combination of tax incentives, training, and a commitment to following through. So I do think that at least 5 million jobs are fully capable of being produced within the next 10 years.
Brian?
Senator Obama, yesterday Senator Clinton gave a speech on foreign policy, and I'm going to read you a quote from it. Quote, "We've seen the tragic result of having a president who had neither the experience nor the wisdom to manage our foreign policy and safeguard our national security. We cannot let that happen again. America has already taken that chance one time too many." Some of the comments in the speech were more pointed. The senator has compared your foreign policy expertise to that of George W. Bush at the same period. Provided you could be going into a general election against a Republican with vast foreign policy expertise and credibility on national security, how were her comments about you unfair?
Well, Senator Clinton, I think equates experience with longevity in Washington. I don't think the American people do, and I don't think that if you look at the judgments that we've made over the last several years, that's the accurate measure. On the most important foreign policy decision that we faced in a generation, whether or not to go into Iraq, I was very clear as to why we should not, that it would fan the flames of anti-American sentiment, that it would distract us from Afghanistan, that it would cost us billions of dollars, thousands of lives, and would not make us more safe. And I do not believe it has made us more safe. Al-Qaeda is stronger than any time since 2001, according to our own intelligence estimates. And we are bogged down in a war that John McCain now suggests might go on for another 100 years, spending $12 billion a month that could be invested in the kinds of programs that both Senator Clinton and I are talking about. So on Pakistan, during the summer, I suggested that not only do we have to take a new approach towards Musharraf, but we have to get much more serious about hunting down terrorists that are currently in northwestern Pakistan. And many people said at the time, well, you can't target those terrorists because Musharraf is our ally and we don't want to offend him. In fact, what we had was neither stability in Pakistan nor democracy in Pakistan. And had we pursued a policy that was looking at democratic reforms in Pakistan, we would be much further along now than we are. So on the critical issues that actually matter, I believe that my judgment has been sound. And it has been judgment that I think has been superior to Senator Clinton's, as well as Senator McCain's.
Well, Senator Clinton, in the last debate, you seemed to take a pass on the question of whether or not Senator Obama was qualified to be commander-in-chief. Is your contention in this latest speech that America would somehow be taking a chance on Senator Obama as commander-in-chief?
Well, I have put forth my extensive experience in foreign policy, helping to support the peace process in Northern Ireland, negotiating to open borders so that refugees fleeing ethnic cleansing would be safe, going to Beijing and standing up for women's rights as human rights and so much else. And every time the question about qualifications and credentials for commander-in-chief are raised, Senator Obama rightly points to the speech he gave in 2002. He's to be commended for having given the speech. Many people gave speeches against the war then, and the fair comparison is he didn't have responsibility, he didn't have to vote. By 2004, he was saying that he basically agreed with the way George Bush was conducting the war, and when he came to the Senate, he and I have voted exactly the same. We have voted for the money to fund the war until relatively recently. So the fair comparison is when we both had responsibility. When it wasn't just a speech, but it was actually action, where is the difference? Where is the comparison that would in some way give a real credibility to the speech that he gave against the war? And on a number of other issues, I just believe that, as Senator Obama said, yes, last summer he basically threatened to bomb Pakistan, which I don't think was a particularly wise position to take. I have long advocated a much tougher approach to Musharraf and to Pakistan and have pushed the White House to do that. And I disagree with his continuing to say that he would meet with some of the worst dictators in the world without preconditions and without the real, understanding of what we would get from it. So I think you've got to look at what I have done over a number of years, traveling on behalf of our country to more than 80 countries, meeting and working out a lot of different issues that are important to our national security and our foreign policy and our values, serving on the Senate Armed Services Committee for now 5 years. And I think that, standing on that stage with Senator McCain, if he is, as appears to be, the nominee, I will have a much better case to make on a range of the issues that really America must confront going forward, and will be able to hold my own and make the case for a change in policy that will be better for our country.
Senator Obama, quick response.
Let me just follow up. My objections to the war in Iraq were not simply a speech. I was in the midst of a U.S. Senate campaign. It was a high-stakes campaign. I was one of the most vocal opponents of the war, and I was very specific as to why. And so when I bring this